EGC Requiem here. Doing a little something different tonight. My buddy and I are going to just kind of jam a single match over and over. Tonight the match is, as you can see on the bottom of the screen here, Legacy versus Eldrazi. My buddy's going to be on Eldrazi. I will be on Elves, and we're going to probably play as much as we can, close to 5 matches. So we're on the draw here. He keeps 7. Haven't really played this matchup much yet. Played 1 match against him last night. This just seems kind of slow, not really enough explosiveness. If he goes turn 1, Chalice, which could be an issue. At least the Visionary gives us some value. I just don't think it's quite explosive enough. I think we're going to mulligan here. Cavern's actually sweet. So actually, I had changed, and this is more for This is for Miracles and Eldrazi, since it's a really large percentage of the metagame, at least online. Yeah, I like this. I ended up putting 1 Cavern in the deck in place of the Pendelhaven, which is kind of like a flex spot, because I think right now it's something like 27 or 28% of the meta is Miracles or Eldrazi, and Eldrazi runs 4 by Cavern, so. So I'm expecting a turn 2 Chalice. Yep, okay. So this is beautiful because we can go Wirewood Symbiote into Elvish Visionary. Oh, no, we can't, because it's not an elf spell. My bad. So we will go Nettle Sentinel. My fault. So we're not going to be able to get the Wirewood Symbiote down. It may have been better to play that turn 1. A little bit of a misplay on my part, not thinking that through. Wirewood Symbiote, the honorary elf. That is not an elf. By the way, I don't know if you've seen the new Eternal Masters set. The art's pretty cool on that one as well, although I don't know. I think I'll always be biased towards the Grinchy elf here. Ooh, Jite. Not great for us. Cradle, significantly better. Shaman, we don't have any way to only get one creature out a turn though, so this does slow us down. I think we end up just running out the Bayou here. No point in running the Cradle. I think the list that he runs, or the lists in general, tend to run some number of Cradle, or Wastelands rather. So, yeah. I suppose we could attack. That's fine. I think we actually are going to attack here. Assuming he's not going to trade, we will gladly use the Visionary to take out the Mimic even if it costs us a couple creatures with the GT. Having the Cradle in hand, we're just a natural order away from a Crater Hoof, so getting this chip shot damage in is kind of worth it. So he's going to play an Endless one for 2, probably wanting to put the GT on the Endless one, as therefore I cannot block it with the Visionary. Alright, still going to put on the Mimic, that way the Mimic doesn't die. So there may have been some some reason to keep the Nettle Sentinel back there. So now we'll probably lose Heritage Druid and a Visionary with the Jitte. The Jitte is just going to take this game over. We really need to get a natural order right now. Natural order would win us the game, I believe, right now. So I kind of want to go Deathrite Shaman here. However, with the Jitte, we really want to make sure the creature dies. So we are going to go with the Nettle Sentinel. That gives us a couple Nettle Sentinels to block. And then we're going to make him use his Jitte counters to kill the Visionaries. We're not going to do it for him. So now if he comes in with something stronger, bigger Endless one, etc., Thought Not Seer, Reality Smasher, we're going to start to run into some problems with the Jitte on the Mimic. Battery Shaper that makes it 3-2 at best. So we still can trade off a Nettle Sentinel here. Eldrazi Displacer, but he doesn't have mana to activate it. So exile another target creature, then return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. So now that Mimic's a little bit bigger. So the question is, do we want to... I think we throw the Visionaries in front. I mean, he's going to kill him anyway. Where are we with... think we're going to go this route. He can kill one of these visionaries with the Jite. Either way, he's going to have to spend the mana later. Or spend the Jite. He's going to have to burn the Jite to get rid of all of these. So his choice is to use the Jite to kill the Nettle Sentinel. And then he'll probably try and kill the Deathrite Shaman as well. Oh, so close, so close. So we are pretty much locked out of this game at this point. The Chalice on one with the Jite is the issue there. So if we had gotten that Wirewood Symbiote down, we would have been able to cycle through Visionaries probably before he really got to that point. We'd have also been able to use the Visionaries as blocker and then bounce them so the Jite would not get counters. So definitely a little sequencing Wirewood Symbiote would have been better in this scenario. Had we known this was coming. There's a fair assumption that's what he's going to try and do. So I'm just kind of assuming this is going to be a loss down here. 0-1. So not only with this, he's going to get a Matter Reshaper. So I actually think we don't block the Matter Reshaper. Block the Displacer. This way he doesn't get another card. He's getting the Jite tokens either way, or counters either way. And presumably he kills the Nettle Sentinel right now. It would be better if that were a fetch land. Pretty sure we're just going to concede to time here. Trying to think, even if we were to draw Natural Order and have the Cradle to cast it, sacking the Dryad Arbor. We can't do enough damage with the Behemoth for it to matter. So Chalice plus a Jite is pretty excellent. So we're just going to go ahead and concede at this point. Move on to game 2. Okay, so we're definitely going to bring in the Reclamation Sage. I think we want a couple of Abrupt Decays. Scavenging Ooze might be good enough to bring in. If we can generate an amount of mana that's relevant, we can actually outsize his creatures. Granted, Eldrazi Displacer is an issue, so we may want to consider that. Null Rod for sure. Pithing Needle could be good too. The thing I don't like about Pithing Needle is just that it's on 1. I like items outside the typical chalice number. I think we're going to take out a couple Glimpse of Nature here, possibly 3. I think we may want Thoughtseize. I think I'm going to bring out, yeah, we're going to bring out 3 Glimpse. And I think we bring in a Progenitus. I think we take out a Craterhoof. Because Progenitus would be big enough to allow us to get our lethal damage in without needing a flurry of creatures on the ground, which may be difficult to get. And then if we're pulling all that other stuff out, Heritage Druid can come out. We may want to consider pulling a Wirewood Symbiote. I think this is what we're going to do. I think we leave 1 Glimpse in just to give us the odds. They may not draw it. And the Symbiote just because if we draw into a Cavern of Souls, we don't actually have the ability to cast Symbiote, and so it just kind of decreases our odds some there. Alright, so on to game 2. Not good enough. So, this is not great, but we're going to keep this. So 4 lands, not great, but the Cavern and having a Natural Order in hand makes it doable. I think we keep. We're going to put that on the bottom. May have been worth holding that fetch, now that I think about it, leading it to Cradle. Mimic. Could have just led with a forest there, held the fetch back to get us our Dryad Arbor, go Cradle into that. Natural Order right there. We should have been able to, yeah, that would have been the better play. Now we don't know what our opponent has. Our opponent may very well have the ability to use Dismember or one of those other creature relevant spells to kill the creature. I'm trying to think what the Warping Whale colorless one is. Alright, so Chalice. Ain't no thing. So if we Gaia's Cradle, I think, let me think, Gaia's Cradle for 2, 3, destroy the Chalice, tap for 3, 1 more, Natural Order. So that gets us the Progenitus. So yeah, that's the order we need to go here. think we actually are going to sack the Heritage Druid on the odd chance that stuff goes bad. So the reason we're going Progenitus here, again, should just take a couple swings. We can block in the meantime. But I also like the fact that it's unlikely he can get to all his dust in time. So we may be getting a concession here. Unless he has some way to fight this Progenitus. He has to swing back. Now, the other nice thing is we'll be able to just leave our creatures back to block this next turn as we go attack with Progenitus, as presuming that we draw another creature to untap the Nettle Sentinel, but at the very least the Reclamation Sage will be back to block. Theoretically. He doesn't have the power to put out, so even if he puts a Thought Knot Seer out, he's only swinging for, say, 4. Okay, so now he could put out a Reality Smasher, so that's 10, but we can block. We can block one of them. Matter Reshaper. Now, my assumption here is that he is not going to attack into this. It's terrible. Terrible value for him. So the Abrupt Decay. Yeah, this is. Alright, so he has to kill us this turn. He may have stayed on the assumption that, let's see, if he gets Reality Smasher, that's 10, 13. Yeah, I just don't, maybe a Mimic and then, no, he doesn't have the mana to do Mimic and, I guess if he has a Simian Spirit Guide, he could go Mimic, Reality Smasher. But the Mimic wouldn't have haste, so I think we've just got him here. I don't think there's, yeah, alright. So on to game 3. Now on the draw, I'm probably going to bring in Thoughtseize. And with Thoughtseize, I think we end up... I don't lose too many creatures. Do we want to pull the Null Rod? You know, I almost feel like the games are too fast for the Null Rod. So we can cut one of those. And we'll cut a Quirion Ranger. Okay, so I'm definitely keeping this. We have an answer to Chalice and or Jite. Opponent mulligan to 6. After his turn 1 play, we get to Thoughtseize, unless we want to go straight into Green Sun Zenith, which probably not. Oh, so he's still mulliganing, so he's down to 5 cards. So this makes the Thoughtseize feel even better. Cavern is not scary. So the Cavern actually is going to lead me to go Green Sun Zenithing because the Chalice seems unlikely and we can Abrupt Decay it even if he does. So we're going to go Green Sun Zenith for green. Go get a Dryad Arbor. So this just kind of ramps us a little ahead here. Gets us a chance to get a natural order as technically as early as turn 2, I think, here. No, it'd have to be turn 3, right? 1, 2. I suppose it's possible. What do we got going on here? Lotus Petal and... Ooh, the Thought Knot Seer. So he is able to ramp out ahead using the Lotus Petal with the Eldrazi Temple. He pulls the natural order, which is completely feasible. And we draw natural order naturally. So yep, we're gonna... He gets an Endless one for 2, a Reality Smasher. I'm gonna get rid of the Reality Smasher here, and then we're just gonna run out a Heritage Druid and a Nettle Sentinel. And so now we are an elf away from natural order. Craterhoof we could get for 6, 5, 11. Exactly 20? No. Yeah, I think we could get exactly 20 if we draw a 1-drop elf and Craterhoof. So we'll see if he attacks. The assumption is he attacks here. He played a land, so we know that his only other cards are Reality Smasher, which is going to... Not a Reality Smasher, but a Endless one, which will presumably come down for 4 here. 3, 4, 4. Now, if he refrains from casting it for some reason, and we draw a 1-drop elf, even a 2-drop elf for that matter, I believe. No, it'd have to be a 1-drop elf, right? We can Craterhoof for lethal off the natural order. So we do have Abrupt Decay, which can kill this, no problem. Well, that is not the card we wanted to see. We could consider blowing up the Endless one and then just attacking for 4. He's going to have us to 8, but again, this just puts us closer to a Craterhoof being lethal. The Progenitus is bad news there, but the Thought Knot Seer is going to make us have to react soon. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do it either way, so might as well just do it now. Either that or we're trading creatures, which is a losing game plan for us. Again, we're just hoping to draw a creature, 1-drop creature. But now, so now if we draw even say a visionary, right? So we can play that for 2, get our 3 mana, 4 mana, sack the creature. We still are attacking for, 5, 6, 11. Yep, and this is one of the better draws he could have as far as we're concerned. Oh, except for the one. Except that we cannot get a 1-drop now, so maybe I misspoke there. Excuse me, I had a cough there. So land here is actually feasible as well. So if we play a land, we tap for 4, sacrifice this, we'll get a 3, which is 8, 4 is 12, and that's actually game. So we will play this, go natural order, sacrificing this, that'll untap the Nettle Sentinel, get to go get Craterhoof and swing for 17. Alright, so that's the match. We win the first match here. Even though we're marking this as League, this is really Legacy vs. Elves. We'll be back with the second match soon. So again, first match here 2-1, which makes the deck show at a 1-0 so far. Not that this is results based. I feel like this is a super tight matchup, super tough. But that's where we are after the first match.